I just thought you might want to know how all this began.
Oh,
Well, it turned out that I had a good friend who happened to be Wynn's cousin. And her best friend turned out to be pregnant. So she couldn't be in the wedding. So guess what? I became a bridesmaid. And Wynn became a groomsman. And we got acquainted, although we went all through high school together. So, I don't know, somehow we clicked. And 3 months later, we got married.
3 months
Can
later?
you explain somehow?
It
Somehow.
wasn't a shotgun wedding.
Somehow.
And just to prove it, here's my marriage certificate. So all you guys know, you're legal.
But you're not.
And here's our wedding pictures, just to prove it also, which I'll pass around, you can look at. And that's really all I have to say. The rest is history.
I have a question.
Okay, she has a question
Okay,
first.
tell them about how you knew this would be your property.
What?
When
How you
you
knew
guys, this would be the place that you guys wanted to live forever. When you guys walked up the hill, remember?
Oh, how we ended up here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's kind of a long route because we got married and Wynn was in medical school.
No, the
And
short
then we
version.
moved to Buffalo. Then we moved to Germany. Then we moved to Enfield. Then we moved to
No, it's
Braintree. And then we moved to Woodstock. And then Wynn said, I think we better buy some land before it's too expensive. So Gordon Richardson, I don't know if you guys from Upper Valley know the Richardson. So Gordon Richardson came to our house. He said, are you looking for property? And we said, yes. So I said, well, he found a piece of property. And I said, what's it like? Well, you could camp in the house, but the land is nice. So we came, we walked up the hill, and up the middle of that field, there was this beautiful, gorgeous birch tree, which is now since gone. And we turned around and we looked down and we said, this is it. So my husband pretended he tore down the house that was there. There's a couple pictures in there if you want to see the original house.
Yeah, we have it in the album.
And built the house, built the barn, built the shed, built the garage, all by himself, post and beam garage. And one day, a guy drove up the driveway and said, wow, what do you do for a living? And he said, I'm a doctor. He said, really? You're supposed to be playing golf. Everybody in Massachusetts plays golf. So anyway, as you can see, this is the result of a chance meeting at a wedding that I hadn't, well, I planned to go to the wedding, I guess. And that's it. So anybody who wants to say anything about their grandfather, their father, is welcome to say something.
Kind of a mystery to me because he wasn't very emotive, and so I couldn't figure out where he stood on a lot of things, and we had some difficult times. One time we actually had a physical fight over a girl. I brought her all the way from Calgary. I mean, all the way from Vancouver to here. Anyway,
Wait, who won?
Who won?
I think it was even. We,
You got beef.
no. He was very strong because he could build all this stuff. So he was real physical guy. So
But you had the
he was
long
muscular.
You had the long hair.
I did have the hair
Easy
over
to
him.
pull.
At that time, I had more hair than he did. And since then, I'm catching up with him. But what I think was so fabulous about Dad was, like people have been speaking about, is the care he took in reading to us all these fabulous stories like Tintin and Christopher Robin, and even somebody said they were
How about Captain Haddock?
Macbeth.
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand,
I
yeah.
remember Ferdinand.
He loved
That's
literature.
Susie's specialty.
That's my specialty.
Ferdinand the Bull.
I memorized it when
She
I
knew
was
it by heart.
10 years old, and everybody thought I was
Oh, really?
Italian because I knew where to turn the page.
I have the original copy. It's like 19, I think it was published in 1946 or something.
Really? I didn't know it was that old.
It's such a wonderful story.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, he took us to Spain, and we actually went to
A bullfight?
bullfight, yeah. And actually, I'm going to show you some pictures later on. I found pictures of a bullfight. I was like, wow, I haven't been to a bullfight since I was 6 years old when he took us in Spain.
And you got sick.
At the bullfight?
You had hepatitis.
So it's not the cause of the bull getting killed that I got sick.
Is that from the fight or the bull?
So I didn't get sick of the gore? No, did the gore bother me or not?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Oh, really? You didn't come? That was just a boys thing? Just took the boys?
I think just you and Tom.
Ah, boys.
Yes, it was great.
So he was such an explorer, you know, because he took us throughout Europe, everywhere, Italy, you know, all the ancient sites that anybody would want to go visit who studied history. So throughout Switzerland, Germany, Holland, Frankfurt, even caves in Altamira in Spain. Besides having the vacation and the matadors and everything we visited cave paintings down there, and France, Paris. I was lucky because I was like at the level of consciousness where it's sunk in, you know. It's
You were
6 years old.
He was advanced.
So, Tom can't remember any of it.
Something about Papa.
About the popsicle?
He was trying to stand up into his wheelchair to get a popsicle, and I stopped him. Grandma, stop! What?
Stop in the name of balance.
Yeah. Like, sit your butt back down.
And then, what did you ask him to say?
What do you want? I want a popsicle, please.
Oh, no,
He made him say
said-
please.
You said, what do you say? And what did Grandpa say?
What do you say? Please. And when I was waiting for the transit, I tracked Grandpa down in his truck.
Who tracked you down?
I tracked Grandpa down. I was like, Grandpa!
And
In the
Driving by?
truck.
he was driving in a truck and you saw
He
him
was
go
going
by.
up the hill. And I was waiting. I was like,
Beth, when I was like second grade, being one of them, because he was great at reading
But I
stories
can wait.
and doing the Boy
I
Scouts.
can wait.
Another was in high school when we started building this house. Or he started building it really. I came out and helped a lot in the afternoons. We would come out and spend the night. So he'd pick me up after school. We'd come out and he would be tearing down all this sheetrock and I'd be shoveling it out the windows. And we'd have to spend the night without any electricity or anything. I thought that was a lot of fun.
How old were you when that was happening?
High school, like probably
Seriously?
8th grade, right?
8th grade, you were
Well,
sleeping
not quite high school is when we moved.
in a
right?
house without any sheetrock in it?
No, in the afternoon.
Yeah, remember we were just tearing it apart.
Yeah, and we had the camper that we took to Alaska.
Right.
Up on the hill.
Well, maybe
And
that's
we
where,
would-
that's probably where we stayed.
Yeah, and we slept up there.
He gave me the Harry Potter book first on Christmas morning. I was gonna disappear, so he hid it in a sweater box in the middle of all the presents on the bottom, and I thought it was closed, so I didn't want it. So I didn't open the book until the end of all the presents, and he assigned the inside from Harry Potter to his favorite Muggle. I was tortured at summer camp, so he made me a shield of bravery that I still have. I remember his truck always smelled like spearmint gum and pretzels.
Spearmint gum and pretzels, yeah.
And I can't taste spearmint without thinking of that. I remember, I'm terrible at dates. When I was at Page, he drove all the way to Montpelier, took me out to lunch, and didn't tell me it was his birthday that he was taking me out for. Yep.
Went at the VA hospital
post-
for, I don't know, when did he retire?
Oh.
I thought it was 92.
He was pretty young when he
He
retired.
lived in Newport when
He was like 65. So
Yeah.
it would have been 95, around 95.
Yeah,
wasn't
so
that
I
old.
worked with him for 20 years at the VA. And one of the clinics we did was the drop-in clinic. And those of us who worked there called it the drop-dead clinic. Because, you know, people would come in from wherever, all over Vermont and New Hampshire, and they didn't have appointments, and they would want to be seen that day. So they checked into an office, and they'd pull out their records from the record room, and they'd stop piling them up, you know. So, you know, an hour into the clinic, there was like a pile of charts about like that. I did drop-in clinic with Wynn in the afternoon, and Wynn was an amazing diagnostician. He would just ask people, he wouldn't even let the patients sit down. He would, he would come in the room, ask them a couple of questions, figure out what was going on, sent them on their way. So I always like to go to lunch. So before I go to the drop-in clinic was when I'd go to lunch first. And there'd be this huge pile of charts when I left for lunch. And when I came back, like he'd seen everyone already. and all I had to do was kind of see the people who came in after that. So it was just a really nice experience to work a clinic with Wynn. Because,
Tell them about the orgasmatron.
well, I don't think Wynn invented the orgasmatron.
Got this house in Pezina. No.
Valrose.
Valrose. And John and I happen to also have a rental in northern France, in north central. What? We were in Tribas. Anyway, we were all there at the same time. And we decided to meet, thanks to Julie. We figured out how to meet in Roquefort. And we got to Roquefort, and we're having this dinner, this lunch, you know, which is dinner with wine and all this great stuff, and blue cheese, of course, because we're in Roquefort. And we're like, Dad, what are you going to have? He goes, well,
Those were up behind the wall. Elm trees.
yeah, everything in the menu was blue cheese. And he says it right as the waiter comes
We
up.
cut them down, but to us.
What? I don't remember giving it to you guys, but I wrote a paper about.
And we couldn't throw it away. So I still have it.
It's about Grandpa and.
We found your paper from
I can't.
I'll read it for you.
What? Oh, you
can cry.
Okay. The first few years of my life were
Don't
spent
read it.
away from the
Don't read
country
it.
I now call home. When I first got to the U.S., my grandparents took my family in until my father could buy a house. This was the first time I had ever met them. They had been at my parents' wedding in Pakistan. I had not been born yet. My grandparents were very important to my family and me. They were very kind and loving to me and cared about me immensely. After a while, my parents bought our first house, which was in White River Junction. I was about 3 and very sad to leave my grandparents' house. They were like second parents to me. My grandfather told me
Pass it down
Okay.
She's going
My
down.
grandfather told me many great stories about his life. One time when I was at his house, my brother and I were playing a war game, and my little brother asked my grandpa if he had ever been in a war. I was interested, so I stopped and waited for his answer. My brother took advantage of this pause in my cover and tackled me. However, my grandpa did answer. He said that he had once served in the army as a doctor. He had served and helped many Americans stay alive. One interesting thing that he said about his service that he had once helped Elvis Presley. My grandfather had actually helped heal the King of Rock. Elvis Presley did not have much wrong with him. Apparently, he just had a few scratches that needed bandaging. He always told us that he just had really bad acne, but I thought this was amazing, and I stored this memory inside my head. I decided that since my grandfather helped so many people, that I wanted to help people too when I grew up. Another story that influenced me was when my grandfather told me about what college he went to. In 6th grade, I brought my report card to my grandparents' house because my parents wanted me to show them. My grandparents both were very proud of my grades. Last year when I was
A- on this paper, guys.
Last year when I was getting frustrated with my biology homework, I decided to call my grandfather. He was a great doctor when he was younger and he went to Yale. Therefore, I thought he might be able to help with my homework. This is exactly what he did. He helped with my homework, and I actually learned a few
Very
things from
repetitive.
him. I was very happy when I got off the phone. Now I could do my homework and have an extra bit of intelligence stored in my brain.
He helped with my homework, if you didn't know.
My grandfather had definitely cheered me up, and I was not frustrated at all anymore. His funny jokes and his intelligence helped me with getting my homework done and much more.
All right. I think we're done with this
Try my
paragraph.
hardest, even if it seemed impossible.
It's definitely not college.
It's okay, it's just funny. She had always done this, and I admire her for that. My grandfather is a very wise person and gives great advice. In addition, one great thing about my grandfather is that he's a very funny person. He can crack a joke on just about anything. Whenever my brother is in a bad mood, my grandpa can cheer him up. One time on Halloween, we had a special family dinner over at my grandpa's house. After the dinner, my brother and grandfather were fooling around. My grandpa made the most weird and funny face that made my brother giggle so hard that he fell right over. I really enjoy... oh my god. I really enjoy spending time with my grandpa. It's very special to me. Okay. Yeah,
Wait, just end it.
When in Cape Cod for summer vacation, there was a very sad movie on. My grandfather came in at the saddest part and said, well, at least this is not real, or I would really hate to be that person. And we all burst out laughing. It was not a particularly funny statement, but just the timing and the way he said it was the funniest thing. Another thing that my father is good at is telling stories. Give him a book, make him read it aloud, and you will not want him to stop until he is finished. When he reads the comic book Tintin, he can do all the voices. This is not a skill many people have, and I enjoy it. A lot. There was a dramatic pause. These times with my grandfather are unforgettable. Most importantly, he is a very special part of my life. He is getting older and older every day.
It gets kind of rough. It gets rough at the end. It gets really rough at the end. It just talks about death at the end.
That's all right.
It just talks. It's just about how he dies. It's just really bad. It's just like all about death.
Okay. I'm gonna skip to the cute parts.
It's literally just saying how he
is
is
a
about
funny
to
person.
die.
He inspires me to do great things. And to put it shortly, he does not have that much time left.
That's what I told you.
I want to spend time with him and make memories. That's memories I will have.
Okay, but he also talks about, I don't know if you guys remember, when he literally drove by a house and it blew up on him, and he somehow did not get hurt by it, so that's pretty crazy.
No, it just.
Basically, I went to an athletic leadership conference in high school, and this guy had told us to write a letter to people that we're thankful for. So I sent this to Grandma and Grandpa, and I just explained that in the first half. And I said, you may not know it, but you have taught me how to persevere, be strong-headed, and care endlessly for the people that I love, and work as hard as I can to be the best. Grandpa, thank you for making me laugh with all of your jokes and keeping the humor alive in the family. Grandma, thank you for making sure every family member is cared for and making everything better for us. Both of you have had a great impact on my life. Thank you. Love, Avela. That's awesome.
How January is.
And I hope you're really celebrating his life.
We certainly are.
It's okay, just bring the
I'd
wine.
just like to say one thing, that on Nancy's 90th birthday, and we were having another celebration like this, and you know how your father loved to party, or your grandfather loved to party, but he said to Nancy, this really is a wonderful family that we have, isn't it? And it's so true.
He said that.
He said that. And I'm glad he went first, because without Nancy, he would have been very, very unhappy and lost. So, it was a long and, you know, like all marriages, ups and downs, but they really did something wonderful, because look at you guys, and look at what you're celebrating, and it's just been wonderful to hear all your stories. And I remember the day he died, and we were all in the room reading the postcards and laughing our hearts out, and I know he heard us, and it was fun, and it was kind of a great tribute that last day of his life. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
He loved ice cream, he loved the times, he loved his children, he loved Favela especially.
A favorite.
He's always a favorite.
Zen and I were the favorite.
Actions you guys want to
He was
just
sort of
walk.
fearless.
Yeah, I think that's
That
easier.
sounds
And he was also kind of a little bit of a lawbreaker, because he always liked, he didn't like to follow rules, and always was encouraging us to,
okay.
sort of do things on the edge of the
yours.
law.
Exactly.
So many kids, like Jeff totally has that kind of like iconoclastic kind of way.
Yep, Jeff.
Oh, I know, he's so worried. He's gonna have to ask.
Hey.
Oh, it's starting, right?
Oh my gosh, it is so tall.
Music. Background music.
He's standing there so innocently. Well, where are they gonna go now? Wait, we gotta spread some in the garden.
Yes.
We haven't.
I think Mom must
They
have.
didn't do the garden.
I did a little bit on our way through.
You did?
Yeah.
The garden itself?
Well, just next to it as we were driving by.
Well, can you drive by the blueberry pad so I can throw some on the blueberry pad?
Sure.
Also on the shed. And wait, I want to get the greenhouse.
You want to just
I might have to get out here.
Did we try the other
do
port?
multiple spots. Okay, this is the dad in the highest. Thanks so much for my life. It's been nice.
Ready?
He plays for Man. He just doesn't score many goals.
I'm not sure.
Will says hi. Will says hi.
Yeah, he's